Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to Factutainment. I am your host, Zero Yeti, and the owner of the channel Aura can't make it today because he's been banished to the hell that is retail during the holiday season. Uh, I am joined by Avery
Vanishing Beyond.
and
Hello.
Bethany.
You're a rat bastard, Charlie Brown.
And we decided to do something for Thanksgiving, and we could really only think of like four different movies. And I decided to go with Charlie Brown Thanksgiving because it was free.
So,
Uh,
so what is this? Yeah, it's free via piracy. What is this fucking historical revisionist image?
this is apparently like one of the cover photos on the box art.
This is not true. Snopes, can we get a fact check in here?
Alright, so we're immediately into this. Okay. So I think Beth is referring to the fact that in like the special, basically everyone sits on one side of the table with the exception of like Woodstock and Franklin sit on the other side of the table.
Which
Uh,
it doesn't actually mean anything, and it's just a complete coincidence, but it's funny to talk about.
well, it actually does mean something. So when the creators of the episode were doing this, this is also the first special. Like Franklin's introduced in the comics, this is the first TV special Franklin features in. And they were adamant on putting Franklin in it because they wanted to include the character Franklin. But the broadcasters were upset about this because it was the 70s and they didn't want to portray, because like especially in the South, if they were to show an episode and they have the black character sitting at the same table as the white characters, it might not get aired. So they literally have a part of the episode where Franklin and like Woodstock is on the opposite side of the, well, they're on the opposite side of the table from the rest of the characters, but Woodstock sits like at a different corner than Franklin. Anyway, they did that so that the broadcasters could literally cut that section off uh, during broadcasts, which I don't know if they actually did that or not, but it was like part of the reason.
I was looking at this beforehand. I didn't see anything about that.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do with this. Whatever it is. I don't see anything here about that.
Oh, that's what I was when I was reading about it, like history of peanuts. Apparently, that's part of what I read, but maybe that information's wrong.
History of peanuts.
Yeah, because here's like what it actually looks like in the episode. But yeah, Avery, this is your introduction to the Peanuts.
Peanuts as
What
a
do you
whole,
think?
yeah. Well, first of all, why is everyone a dick to Charlie Brown?
Tradition.
That's sort of the running like conceit of the comic book and well, comic strips, I believe it was, and then became a full comic book on its own. And like TV show in general is Charlie Brown is the main character. Charlie Brown is also like this guy everyone blames anything on for no real reason.
It's like a Discord moderator.
It kind of reminds me of this is gonna be a weird reference. Do y'all remember that? Well, I think only Baby Beth may get this because I don't think it was in the UK. But there is a TV show about like this guy who buys an inn after becoming a successful writer, and he buys the inn, and he like just is taking care of the place. And there's all these wacky characters that either work at the inn or like live in the town around him, including like the maid and the handyman. And the episode conceit is always they get into something like some shenanigans, and he ends up getting blamed somehow when he had no direct involvement.
Vegas' has-been hotel.
No, it is
I
not.
don't know what this
Has
is.
been a hotel. Speaking of Has Been a Hotel, Avery, what do you think of the season?
It completely passed me by. I haven't actually had a chance to watch it yet, to be honest.
No heart.
Nope. I don't know what this is.
Oh. My family watches all the time. Yeah, it stars Bob Newhart.
This is from before either of us were born.
I mean, so is the Peanuts.
Yeah, but they don't play Newhart every week, every single year.
Right.
Hearing the way Avery described watching this was so bizarre because I could barely think of anything to commentate about it. But Avery was like, "Oh, the plot was going by so fast. Everything's just happening."
But yeah,
Blur.
as a general just like overview, the episode starts with Lucy, who only shows up for like one scene, which is unusual.
You should probably meet the. You should
probably she's meet the video just in case. Because she's usually like one of the main characters. She is doing the classic football routine with Charlie Brown, where it's probably the biggest cultural takeaway. Are you gonna play? Apparently the video just doesn't want to play for some reason.
No.
Anyway, probably one of the biggest cultural impacts of Charlie Brown is just this football gag that gets referenced in a lot of places. Because Lucy does this gag where she has a football and she asks Charlie Brown to kick it, and then at the last second she always yanks it out of the way, and then he falls on his face. And that's just
the funniest shit imaginable.
Yeah,
Fuck this kid.
In the 60s and 70s, it was the funniest shit imaginable. And then it cuts to the title card, which is Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. With Snoopy and Woodstock dressed up as pilgrims. And then for some reason, they're checking the mail, and the mail got delivered on Thanksgiving Day. Which...
all the Thanksgiving mail, all the Thanksgiving cards.
That doesn't happen. Typically, usually the mail is... like, just doesn't run on Thanksgiving. Do they do that in Britain? Does, like, for certain holidays, mail just not run?
There's only a couple. It's only really Christmas and New Year's Day, and that's about it, to be honest.
Okay, for us, it's Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, and then there's a bunch of, like, the federal holidays, like Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Labor Day.
Yeah, so it's not just those things.
Yeah. And then Charlie Brown's sister, who I'm forgetting the name of. I feel bad about not knowing her name. But she is complaining about how all the stores just have Christmas decorations up. She couldn't find a turkey Thanksgiving tree to put up this year for Thanksgiving. Which, yeah, those aren't a thing, and it sounds like if it was a thing, it would be horrific. But
All right, we have to get this tree in between October and December, and then we have to throw it out and get rid of it and bring in the December tree.
well, she also described it as a turkey tree. And to me, that is a tree made out of turkey, is what the image it conjures up in my mind.
No, it's just a tree with a turkey in it. Just get like a shitty
No, I was
like pine tree or shitty maple tree or something that a turkey has climbed up,
no, I was
but
thinking
the
of
turkey has to remain in the tree when you cut it down.
I was thinking it was a tree made out of turkey bones.
I thought you meant like flesh.
Oh, um, like I was thinking of like what was it? 28 years later, the bone things.
The bones.
Yeah, like this. That's not what I want.
Just have this be the thumbnail.
Or he has it. He builds all of these like spires out of human bones.
Then they did this in Charlie Brown.
Yeah, it was real weird.
It's called What the Fuck, Charlie Brown. I'm calling the police, Charlie Brown.
And Snoopy decides to reenact Vlad the Impaler. 1 second.
I wasn't entirely paying attention. Is there a part in here where anybody wears any Native American headdresses?
No.
I think it was just pilgrim hats, wasn't it?
Okay. Apologies. And we're back.
In fact, we never left. Technically. Don't look at the runtime.
Don't look at the sun jump. Anyway, we were talking about trees made out of turkey bones, and then what is
Turkey
her
flesh.
name?
Lucy?
No.
If only we had freely access. Okay. Did anybody else find it weird that Charlie Brown talks to his grandmother
Sally.
and introduces himself by saying, "It's me, Charlie Brown." Yes, dear, I know what your surname is. You don't need to keep saying it.
Maybe she's got dementia. Who knows?
Well, this is a great expression. This is like when you get like really mad about something really specific and the other people listening are bored.
Yeah. So when Aura's on yet another rant about like has been hotel or digital circus, and I just don't care.
I mean, if there's anyone who rants about Has Been Hotel, it's Beth more than Aura, to be honest. No offense, Beth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not in defense of it.
When Braden's going on a story about how his workplace is just the most awful thing imaginable, and the rest of us who have collectively told him to just quit his job 4,000 times.
What are you talking about? Braden would never have this much emotion.
Damn. Anyway. And then there's Linus, who's the kid with a blanket. And so he's kind of like, he's typically, the majority of the time, the voice of reason for any given scenario. Yet everyone
But also does this.
weirdly looks down on him because he still has a blanket that he carries around. But like, just let the dude do his thing, man. Uh,
Also, I'm just here like,
Avid
I
God
mean,
worshiper.
he's a child. What I'm not sure what the other children are expecting. Like, oh, so I'm still a kid. What do you want from me?
oh,
You
and
also have to remember.
good.
You also have to remember this was recorded at a time where when they had children, they just used actual children to voice the children.
Yeah. Uh, Another dynamic is that this is his Charlie Brown's sister Sally, uh, and Sally likes Linus. Linus does not like Sally. That is a fairly common trope in this show. You have Peppermint Patty who likes Charlie Brown, who doesn't romantically like Peppermint Patty, and then Lucy who likes Schroeder, but Schroeder does not like Lucy.
Well, Schroeder does and does not like Lucy, and we won't know until you open the piano.
Okay.
People be saying anything online. They be saying Charlie Brown had hose. No, the fuck he didn't.
But yeah, then Charlie Brown gets a call from Peppermint Patty, who, another thing is, she talks over basically everyone and never lets anyone else talk, which is like one of her big personality traits. Uh, and then she invites herself over to his house for Thanksgiving, despite the fact he's not going to have Thanksgiving at his house. But because he never says anything, the plan just goes with she's going to come over. And then she invites her assistant. I forget her name.
Lesbian.
Her name is not lesbian.
What would the lesbian term be like? I don't think it would be like sub or something. I don't think any of them is like
Marcy.
secretary.
Typically, there's the femme and the butch, but that's like a more traditional lesbian thing. But
Yeah, Marcy.
top and bottom is still apply.
Yeah, basically, Marcy and Peppermint Patty are not seen outside of each other for most of the show. And
The flesh.
yeah, basically everyone's concluded that yeah, they're definitely lesbians.
Despite the fact that the one keeps hitting on this guy.
Yeah, although I did see a comic about that was kind of where Charlie Brown ends up being an egg. And so the comic is the joke's that.
I mean, yeah, look at the head shape of his head.
Here. This one. And it's not loading. This is what the comic strip used to look like.
Yeah, it's because it's on Instagram, and Instagram is a subsidiary of Facebook, and all Facebook and Instagram images don't open like that unless you open the link physically.
But yeah. So that was not only 9 weeks ago, okay. I knew it was recent, but I thought it was like a repost. Anyway. So yeah, she ends up inviting, Peppermint Patty ends up inviting herself, Marcy, and a kid named Franklin. There he is.
Some guy that just walked into our house. It's just there for no reason.
All over to Charlie Brown's for Thanksgiving. So now Charlie Brown has to throw a Thanksgiving dinner for...
Could you imagine? On the day.
Yeah, this is all happening like the day of. So the Linus has the idea of like, well, just tell them that you're going to eat early, and then everyone will have eaten and left by 4 in the afternoon. Which no, uh, then you'll be ready to go to your grandma's for Thanksgiving. So they get to work, and by get to work, they instruct Snoopy to do basically everything. And
Because all Charlie Brown can make is cold cereal and toast, and he can't even butter it right because Charlie Brown sucks.
and then Snoopy gets Woodstock, his best friend slash servant, to help him, and they kind of mess around in the garage trying to get everything out of the garage, and they end up there's a lot of slapstick of Snoopy getting stuck in the basketball goal or fighting a chair.
And the song that's playing is being sung by the guy that usually just plays the music.
Or like playing table tennis. And then there's but yeah, basically they setting up the table.
Yeah, bring up the chair.
This is where it gets
The very long chair fight sequence that's like a fucking this is an Earthbound boss.
Yeah, this chair fight sequence takes up 10% of the runtime.
Okay, we don't play too much of it. This is owned by Apple. They might kill us.
It is funny though. It's like in this 24-minute short, 10% of the runtime is dedicated to Snoopy fighting a chair.
I mean, have you ever seen a dog fight a chair? It could go either way.
And it cuts back to Peppermint Patty and Marcy and Franklin, and they're talking about, like, is there a dress code to this Thanksgiving? And Peppermint Patty's like, nah, Charlie Brown, who she always calls Chuck for some reason. I've never understood that. But
Charles Xavier.
she always refers to him as Chuck, and she's like, oh no, Chuck's like very, very casual. He doesn't require a dress code or anything.
He's always wearing that one shirt. He's such a. He's such a. I forget what she said. Whatever, move on.
And then it's Snoopy finishes setting up Snoopy wants to finish setting up the table, and then they join Linus in the kitchen, like Linus and Charlie Brown, and they start making their Thanksgiving feast, where they have a. Let's go play this 1 second. A frankly insane amount of toasters.
And I had to look this up. The ones on the right are from pre-World War toasters. Only toast on one side.
Yeah. And they do a whole sequence of making toast, popping popcorn, buttering
Which scared
toast.
the bejesus out of me. But
right. I need to go back and listen to that sound to hear what the fuck it is that set Avery off.
Okay, 1 second.
Gave him fucking PTSD. He was back in the trenches.
I just wasn't expecting it.
That's like,
I don't know
like that every time I stand up.
I don't know why. It just made me jump.
I almost guarantee you that sound is just them throwing like snappers at a wall. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
The fireworks.
But
yeah.
I can't tell you why. It just made me jump.
And then Snoopy sets up the table, and then he harasses Woodstock into dressing up as a pilgrim with him.
Snoopy, this is cultural appropriation. Snoopy, the Pilgrims did horrible things to Native Americans.
And then he has the cork gun, which was a popular toy. And then
Nowadays, if you had one of these, the police would shoot you.
And the religious persecution, a lot of them were fleeing, was them being mad that they weren't allowed to make a theocracy.
Where was the part where Linus explained that?
but yeah, also remember,
Oh no,
folks,
so I'm just bringing it up because so often it's like, oh, they were fleeing religious persecution, and I'm like,
remember, folks, despite what modern
Yeah, the
fucking
Civil War is about states' rights.
public school textbooks tell you,
States' rights do
Plymouth
what?
was not the first even European colony in the Americas, not even the first British colony in the Americas. Yeah, that was Jamestown and then also Roanoke. But
yeah,
for some reason,
the first Europeans to North America were in fact the Vikings. So,
but for some reason
They
now
saw this place as shit left.
in public schools, it's taught that the first people to ever go to the New World was the Pilgrims, which just erases all kinds of history, like several hundred years of history.
Yeah, it's a proud American tradition.
Anyway, then Marcy, Peppermint Patty, and Franklin show up,
Charlie Brown, could you lighten up?
and they go to the backyard, and they all get seated, and then they have their feast. Well, before they have their feast, Linus gives a prayer because Peppermint Patty says someone should.
yeah,
And then-
because this was the 70s, and all children's programming must contain Christian propaganda.
Wasn't the Hays Code still around?
Probably.
When did the Hays Code end?
What are you saying?
When did the Hays Code end?
That
Oh, it's 68. All right. Then we have. So Linus
I mean,
gives
the existence of
a prayer. Go on.
the existence of Thanksgiving in the Charlie Brown universe implies that all of this stuff still happened. Like the existence of Christianity in Charlie Brown means that the
Crusades
religious
happened.
persecution has occurred. The horrors of war have happened in this universe.
Oh, there's an entire Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving special, where they reenact being the Pilgrims
I didn't watch that one.
because I want to watch the one that came out first, which is this one. Anyway, so Linus gives a prayer, which is like a shortened version of apparently the first prayer told on the first Thanksgiving, which is honestly at this point more American mythology than natural history.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, most American Christians aren't even really Christian at this point.
It's like how the
American Protestantism is like a unique flavor of demonic.
it's a like a lot of modern Christianity is I'm gonna be honest, even evangelical Christianity is kind of a death cult, but without any of the
Evangelical
coolness of
Christianity is
of
a
a-
death cult, Charlie
a
Brown.
death cult. Like, how many people thought the rapture was gonna fucking happen like last month?
And then they thought it would happen a few years before that, and a few years before that, and a few years before that, and so on.
Yeah.
It's the great rapture, Charlie Brown.
Anyway, then they get to having their feast, where
Feast.
Snoopy gives everyone a plate of popcorn, pretzels, jelly beans, and buttered toast.
A meal fit for kings. I don't see what anyone's complaining about.
And everyone seems to like
This meal is
be.
mostly grain and sugar.
Everyone seems to be like mostly just munching on it because they're kids, and who cares? Except for Peppermint Patty is angry because there's no turkey and mashed potatoes and pumpkin pie.
They're
And so
giving him like 3 hours notice.
so she just like lays into Charlie Brown and Snoopy and everyone, and causes like Snoopy to even get embarrassed. There's like a segment where he like
What blockhead cooked?
puts the hat over his head. Yeah. Uh, and then Charlie Brown leaves because he's embarrassed. And then Marcy kind of explains of like, hey, you invited. Did he invite us or did you invite us over? And it's like, also, this is Charlie Brown's house. This may just be how they do things.
Well, you see, it's the accurate depiction of Christopher Columbus walking in and saying, "Okay, I own this place now."
Which, yeah, that's generally good thought practice to have. Of like, if you get invited over to someone's house for a meal or just like a social gathering, you can't get mad at what they serve or their traditions. You are the guest. You do not make the rules.
No, you see, Peppermint Patty is a vampire, and this all ties together with the movie Sinners.
Also, they're drinking what looks to be strawberry ice cream sundaes.
Whipped cream.
But yeah, then Peppermint Patty feels bad after they explain everything. Like, yeah, Charlie Brown only had like this limited amount of notice and decided to even put this on for you. But rather than apologizing herself, she sends.
Well, she does come to the realization of, oh, that was probably a bad thing for me to do, but then she sends the other person to do it because she's too afraid to do it herself.
Yeah. And then Marcy apologizes, makes Charlie feel a little bit better. And then Peppermint Patty comes in and actually apologizes further. And then she makes a comment about how Charlie Brown's holding her hand.
There is actually, I was looking for any semblance of trivia about this special to bring up, which I could not find, but apparently they make a literary reference here for referencing some fucking poem that I don't think any of us would have known.
And then Charlie Brown gets a call from his grandma, and then this is another thing in Charlie Brown. All adults are just categorized by going wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, it's a trombone mute.
And so Charlie Brown explains to his grandma after introducing himself with his full legal name to his grandma. What's happening with it, what's happening and how they're running late. And then his grandma invites him to bring his friends to Thanksgiving. And they all go.
Seems like the obvious solution.
And they sing.
It happens.
Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. And then Charlie Brown makes the comment of his grandma lives in a condo.
It's also not a Thanksgiving song.
And then
But what else do they have?
Avery made a comment of that car seems very unsafe. And then it's like, well, it was the 70s, so who cared about safety?
Yeah, it's because they don't wear any seatbelts. Because this was before seatbelt regulations.
And then Woodstock and Snoopy, who stayed behind, have their own Thanksgiving dinner with a turkey and pumpkin pie.
Where the fuck did he get this?
Good question.
What was he holding out?
But and then the credits roll, yeah. And that's Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Thoughts?
It's unremarkable.
Yeah, it was all right. I don't really have the nostalgia for it. So
Well, I was wanting your thoughts on it, Avery, because you're someone who doesn't have nostalgia. What was your general impressions of it?
We don't have nostalgia for anything.
but it was all right. I could see, like, as a child being entertained by this, and there being like at least some kind of message about
Don't
not
be a,
being a dick when you're in someone's home.
yeah, someone else's.
I guess.
Yeah, no, this isn't. This is even one of the better remembered Charlie Brown specials. And I say that as somebody with no particular opinion about them. The only notable thing is the thing about the black kid.
Franklin.
Yeah, well, that's really about it, to be honest.
Yeah, after this one, Franklin becomes like a. He's not like one of the
Like,
main cast members, but he's like a regular reoccurring character that shows up. Because the main cast members are like Linus, Lucy, Snoopy, and Charlie Brown. Because even Peppermint Patty is like kind of a side character.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are your thoughts, Beth?
You've already asked me this thing.
Yeah? What about it?
I answered you. Why don't you give your thoughts about it?
Overall, I
Why don't
think
you ask yourself that? That's a question you should ask yourself, Megatron.
overall, I think it's a pretty decent little special. It's much more bearable upon rewatch as an adult than some of the other holiday specials I remember seeing a lot as a child. Because, like, obviously, what comes to mind is like a lot of like the fucking Christmas kid specials that are kind of like unwatchable as adults. And this is like, okay, this ain't bad.
These used to get replayed annually by TV stations until Apple bought them up.
Yep.
The problem is capitalism, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, so like Best made a good point of like this isn't like one of the major known Charlie Brown specials, because the major known ones are probably Great Pumpkin and Merry Christmas, and then there's a Valentine's one I
One of the
remember
major
watching.
ones. I think this is one of the more remembered ones because there are ones I can't remember, like the fucking river race one. Like, who cares about that?
Fair enough. I know there's an Easter one as well, where it's like Easter Beagle, Charlie Brown or something. And then there's later ones where apparently Linus
Crucifying
and
Charlie Brown.
Lucy end up with a younger brother. And I remember watching one of those randomly. I'm like, when did this character exist?
What the fuck?
And then
This is like when they introduced the baby fairy in Fairly Odd Parents.
And there's a bunch of like, Snoopy has like a bunch of brothers that show up in later specials, and it's like, what is happening?
I mean, there's like Joe Cool. I want to say that's what his name is.
Yeah.
Like the one with the mustache.
But yeah,
That's the alter ego.
have a good one. Bye.
Have a bad
Good
one.
night, everybody.